Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the equation 2 to the power of x is equal to x to the power of 32. So, to solve this, I'm going to first start by taking the power of 1 over x on both sides. So I get 2 to the power of x to the power of 1 over x is equal to x to the power of 32 to the power of 1 over x. And the reason I did this is because if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So x and 1 over x, these two cancel out. So on my left-hand side, I just have 2. And for my right-hand side, 32 and 1 over x multiply to get 32 over x. Now, from here, I'm going to take the power of 1 over 32 on both sides. And if you guessed, we're doing this to get rid of this 32 on my right-hand side. So for my left-hand side, I just have 2 to the power of 1 over 32. Now for my right-hand side, these two are going to cancel out. So I get x to the power of 1 over x. That's all that's there remaining. And now, we want to simplify this because our end goal is to make this in the form a to the power of 1 over a is equal to b to the power of 1 over b. So in that case, if that's in the form, that means a is equal to b. So we already have x to the power of 1 over x over here. So we just need to make the left-hand side be in the form a to the power of 1 over a, meaning this number here has to equal this number. So we need to find a way to make that. Well, what we can do is rewrite 1 over 32 as 2 over 64. And now, remember, this is the same thing as if I have something in the form a to the power of n to the power of m, this is equal to a to the power of m times m. So I can reverse this and rewrite this as 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 1 over 64. And 2 to the power of 2 is 4, so I get 4 to the power of 1 over 64 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. Now, this still isn't, these two numbers still aren't the same. So what we're going to do is repeat the process once again. 1 over 64 is the same thing as 2 over 128. And I can rewrite this as 4 squared to the power of 1 over 128. Now 4 squared is 16, so I get 16 to the power of 1 over 128 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. And they still aren't the same, so I'm going to repeat it once again. So I get 16 to the power of 2 over 256 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. Now this is the same thing as 16 squared to the power of 1 over 256 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. And now 16 squared is equal to 256. So I get 256 to the power of 1 over 256 is equal to x to the power of 1 over x. And now notice that these numbers are the same, and this is in the form, as I said, a to the power of 1 over a is equal to b to the power of 1 over b, meaning a is equal to b, so x is equal to 256. So this is my solution to this equation. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and share this to any of your friends or family. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to solve the equation x to the power of 12 minus 1 is equal to 0. So to solve this, I'm going to first rewrite this as x to the power of 6 to the power of 2 minus 1 squared is equal to 0. And the reason I'm doing this is so I can use the property a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So this turns into x to the power of 6 plus 1 times x to the power of 6 minus 1 is equal to 0. So this gives me two equations. I get x to the power of 6 plus 1 equals 0, and x to the power of 6 minus 1 equals 0. Now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to rewrite x to the power of 6 minus 1 equals 0 as x to the power of 3 to the power of 2 minus 1 squared is equal to 0. So I can use this property again and get x to the power of 3 plus 1 times x to the power of 3 minus 1 is equal to 0. Now, for x to the power of 3 minus 1 equals 0, I'm going to rewrite this as x to the power of 3 minus 1 to the power of 3 equals 0, so I can use the property a to the power of 3 minus b to the power of 3 is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So this turns into a minus b times a squared plus a plus 1 is equal to 0. Sorry, this turns into x minus 1 times x squared plus x plus 1 is equal to 0, which gives me yet another two equations. So now I have x minus 1 equals 0 and x squared plus x plus 1 equals 0. So for x minus 1 equals 0, all I have to do is add 1 on both sides, and I get x is equal to 1. And for x squared plus x plus 1 equals 0, I can use the quadratic formula. So by using it, I get x is equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 3i over 2. So these are two more solutions. And now we aren't done yet because we also have to solve these. So now I have x to the power of 3 plus 1 is equal to 0. And I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides, so I get x to the power of 3 is equal to negative 1, meaning x is also equal to negative 1. So this is another solution. Now for x to the power of 6 plus 1 equals 0, I'm going to again subtract 1 on both sides. So I get x to the power of 6 is equal to negative 1. And if I take the 6th root, I get x is equal to 6th root of negative 1, which is equal to negative 1 to the power of 1 over 6. So now, the 6th root of negative 1 is, say, we know that I is equal to the square root of negative 1, which is equal to negative 1 to the power of 1/2. So negative 1 to the power of 1 over 6 is the same thing as negative 1 to the power of 1/2 minus something. So now 1 over 6, or I should say 1/2 minus 1 over 6 is equal to 1 over 3. So 1 over 6 plus 1 over 3 is equal to 1/2. We know this, meaning we have negative 1 to the power of 1 over 6 and this plus, or sorry, 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 is what we can rewrite 1 over 6 as. Now, this is the same thing as 1/2 plus negative 1 over 3. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m plus n, this is equal to a to the power of m times a to the power of n. So this is going to equal negative 1 to the power of 1/2 times negative 1 to the power of negative 1 over 3. Negative 1 to the power of 1/2 is the square root of negative 1, which is equal to I. So we get I times negative 1 to the power of negative 1 over 3, which is the same thing as 1 over negative 1 to the power of 1 over 3, which is equal to negative 1. So I get I times negative 1, which is equal to negative I, which is my final solution.